Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to our weekly coffee chat. Everybody, I am in Clearwater Beach right now, and so I'm moving around because I'm watching my friends' dogs, and they like to be a little too involved in the podcast. So I decided I was going to go in the room here. How are you doing today, Virginia?
Huh? What'd you say?
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
I said,
I've
how
been
are
up
you doing
really,
today?
I've been really doing some real deep stretching and squats because I've hurt my back, and that's the only thing. I think for people that are my age, if we don't start doing, because I did a lot of squats, boy, I tell you, it hurt because my legs are very weak, and some kept sitting my butt in this chair for 11 months. Then I had to start doing some deep inner work, and that was like doing stretching and getting squats. Literally, I couldn't get my butt out of the chair, literally. So yeah,
Oh wow,
that's what I've been doing.
wow, very cool. The ones I'm while you're talking, I'm going to.
What?
Oh, I'm just going to Facebook and making sure it's going public.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, but that's what I've been doing. I've been doing. My back was starting to hurt really, really bad, and I had an experience about literally I couldn't get my butt out of a boat that I was trying to get, and I realized that I was not really doing well with my body. So I started doing my stretching exercises here at my house. I don't go anywhere. I sit right here, and I started doing my inner work like that, but pulling myself up. And it has made a great deal of difference because I have a different balance. I mean, I don't think people realize sitting in a chair a long time is not good for you. It doesn't. It doesn't help your back. It doesn't help your ass. It keeps you very back. That's why I think some of my stuff with my eczema is because of my muscles. They were tightened, and I had them wrapped around my stomach. I mean, you know how deep I go in. I go in really deep to find out what's really going on. There's ribbons of tissue that you have to go into. So I do a lot of that myself. So yes, I am always working within myself some way or other way. Now I've got to go out and start getting ready to winterize everything. So that's what I'm going to start doing pretty soon. Going through getting all my tomato vines and everything and redoing this is what you have to do for the winter when you have a house, and getting things ready and straightened up for the winter and in the fall. And I love the fall in Kentucky. Absolutely love. I don't know where Jeremy is. There you are. Where have you been, Jeremy?
can you hear me?
I can hear you, but
Can you
you're
hear
not.
me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, I mean,
So
you were that frozen for a minute there. So yeah.
well, that's because every time a phone call comes in, StreamYard hasn't fixed this to where when I get a phone call that comes in, it kicks me out of the system. And I'm
Oh, okay.
like, but they promote that this is such a great way for people that are more mobile to be able to do their stream yards.
So how do you stop your phone then from ringing and erupting you
Well,
out of?
I can put it I can put it in airplane mode, but I
Yeah.
just got here like an hour and a half ago. I haven't figured out the Wi-Fi yet, so um,
Oh, okay.
and it's better. StreamYard is better on my phone than my computer. When we've done it on my computer, it's not always been as clear. So
Right.
remember, I was having trouble with it. So
Right. Right.
it is what it is. So um, apparently, we're out of retrograde
Is that what it says? See, I don't know anything about that.
up until the 28th. Yeah.
Mm,
Well, and what I was going to say is that there are most of it's interesting you talk about that because when I was 20 to 23, I worked at McDonald's and I was a size 30 waist. Hi, Melissa. Um, and I was a size 30 waist working at McDonald's, and I was in great health. And of course, I was also 20 to 23 years old. But then I started working in an office, and I started gaining weight. And so, because why? I was sitting in a chair all day long, and
Right.
and so and so what ends up happening is that, you have to, if you work in those kind of jobs, you have to get out there and start doing other things and
Yeah.
walking or moving or stretching.
Becoming aware of
Yeah.
what your body is reacting to it.
Well, and,
Because
and
I've
when you
been
really
on
think
this,
about that, along,
I can't hear you.
I was just saying, when natural law, it has one part of natural law is about movement, action.
Yes.
And so, if you don't have movement or action, if your energy is sedentary or complacent, so it really starts to make you look
Right.
at, you have to have movement.
Right. Well, and it gets
So,
stagnant. Your blood gets stagnant. Everything gets, that's why, but I sat down and I kept thinking, because I have friends, like Jennifer and Mary Pat, they're both malfascia. So I started going in myself. I thought, you know what? I've got to start really taking more addressing myself because sitting down. And so yesterday I did a lot of workout on myself, the day before the same. But I do a lot of deep work and I do tennis ball. I use the tennis ball a lot. I can always put my sacrum back in. I can do work with my back. Um, I don't go to a gym. You go to a gym. I don't go to a gym. My gym is right here, so I don't like to go anywhere. I do it myself. So yeah, but I've been noticing that. I've been noticing how much stronger I am because I was really concerned about my balance. And I was even going up steps, how it was really making my glutes that would hurt. And I thought that's not normal. So I started doing stair working. I have stairs that I can go and jump into, and I just start moving. I don't have that at home, but I can walk over there. There's a lot of stairs in the area that I do. So yeah, I'm just working out on my own self. I don't like to walk.
good.
Everybody, you need to walk. I don't like to walk. Especially in the heat. I'm sorry. You're just not going to get me to walk outside in the heat like that. I work out in the yard in the mornings, and I've already done that, but I don't know. But yeah, and then we're going to have a big meeting on Saturday, this coming Saturday. So I would like to invite everybody. You all come into there because it's going to be a good one. We're going to be talking about the different things. You and I have been talking a lot about what's going on. Everybody's very concerned about what's going on with the election and everything, which we don't even talk about. We only live in the now, the moment. The election is when. I have November, and they're still arguing over that. Who's going to win? Can't get involved in
I've got
that.
too many other things to worry about.
Me
I got too
too.
many
I
other things to worry about. I had some,
can't
yeah.
get involved.
And people get upset. People get upset with me when I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. So,
Well, I'm not in. I'm just not involved in that kind of part. You get caught up in a track, and I can't go into that because that lowers your frequency. It lowers your whole thought process. It puts you into fear. A lot of people. So you got to really be remembering that you're in the now, the moment. There is no past. There's no future. It's right here. And if I can teach more people that, then we can start a different world. But a lot of people are still going in the past. They're in fear. So we're seeing that a lot. I don't know about you, but I know I am. Lots.
yeah.
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 So what
Well,
else is going on, Mon? You're going to be going into Colorado.
yeah, I'll be flying on the 8th of September, so a week from Sunday, to Colorado Springs, and I'll be between Colorado and Denver for a week. Well, I guess about 6 days, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm speaking at a business conference, a metaphysical business conference on community and building community. So, which I still have to think about what I'm going to say.
Do you ever?
So,
I mean, I
but it'll
never
be
even think about what I'm going to say, even to the moment that I stood up on a stage. I don't know what I'm going to say. I have a skeletal understanding, but that
yeah,
doesn't mean that's what I'm going to talk
a
about.
structure. Like, well, and half the time when I prepare, it ends up getting changed at the last minute, anyways.
I know.
So, but It is what it is. So that I'm doing that, and then I don't know what I'm doing after that. To be honest with you, I know I got several speaking engagements here in Florida because right when I get back, I got to go to Orlando. Like the next day, I got to go to Orlando. But yeah, and so I'm adding stuff to the new website I just built, new courses, and all the content we built in the last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, that's a lot of work for people not to be able to use it, and so I've been putting that up on my website, and so yeah.
Yeah.
But for tomorrow, everybody check out mydivineinheritance.org. If you haven't checked that out, it's has a lot of great information on it for you. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but I mean, the other thing is I've just been really going through some deep stuff. Like I just went through a huge letting go recently, where I had a dream about an ex, and they came up to me, and my first thing out of my mouth was, I wasn't angry. I was just like, why didn't you just tell me the truth?
Right.
And they started hemming and hawing like they would anyways. And I said, that's why we're no longer even friends, because
Right.
of what you're doing right now. And I just won't. And I want to say that to everybody. You don't have to put up with any circumstance where you're made to feel like crap, where you're made to feel stupid. And some people will argue, and people will argue with you about this. They'll say, well, some people need to be held accountable. I'm like, did I say they need to be held accountable? I mean, like, that's automatically people go into that. And so being held accountable, you're not being made to feel like shit or made to feel guilty. You're just, somebody's just saying, hey, that's not okay, or hey, here's what's going to happen as a result of what you have to pay your dues of what happened. So, but it's not a punishment. Karma is not a punishment. It's just cause and effect.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things where, and then they'll argue and say, well, a murderer shouldn't go to prison. I'm like, did I say that? And it's
I know.
because their emotions get involved in whatever it is that they're looking at. So, but
It's well, and I just think that if we learn just to be still, really be still. I mean, empty your mind every day to start a new fresh day. Because we still carry up, a lot of stuff that we have contained, and that we need to let go. A lot of stuff needs to be let go, and just start fresh every day. If we could do that, but I get up sometimes with something on my mind, and the next day, that I'd done the day before, and still worrying about them, and not worrying, but pondering them. Now, if you're pondering, that's one thing, but if you're worrying, out. You're already out. The minute you're worrying something, you're creating more worry, and I don't think people even understand how that works. Jeremy, that their worrying creates, well, like when somebody worries about somebody, you're putting worry on them. And they said, what do you mean? I said, that's energy. And it's not a higher consciousness at all. It's fear. So you don't want to put them into fear. Not at all. How many times
yeah,
have you go on?
I've been telling people have been asking me, people get really triggered easily because of what they perceive I'm going through. And I'm like, I'm not really worried. And, I said to somebody, I said, if fear starts to come in, I just say no to it. What point what is it going to do to worry? Nothing. It's not going to do anything. And really right now, everything is fine. It is it chaotic a little bit right now in my life? Yes. But is it really chaotic, or is it just there's constant movement right now?
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things but you can still get still while you're moving. So
Well,
and so I
movement is also like exercising the
yeah.
mind with new thoughts, new understandings. Same thing as the body. It all does work together, and more than I've noticed since I've been doing squats, which I busted up my knees. I mean, that is very painful. You don't realize how much energy you hold into your body. So when I really popped my knees, I thought I busted my knees because I did the squats so deeply, and it released. it released my legs. So that's why I said, when I was saying about my eczema, I really think that was a lot of the eczema because of the tension in my body from sitting. I know that sounds crazy because I had more problems with my legs and my skin than I had my arms. So yeah, I was looking at a lot of I've been looking at things really deep of why we're where we are, why we're doing what we're doing, why do we think the way we think? Because that's where we are. Is you got to be very clear on your thinking process. And when you're thinking, it's not about worrying or fear. It's about truth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And it's I was telling you the other day that what I've gone through in the last 3 years prepared me for where I'm at right now. Well, everything you've done in your life has prepared you for what you're doing right now. But the last 3 years, I go back to you and I were sitting on my couch in my apartment.
Mm,
Uh, I had just literally been laid off from my job, I think about a month, 5 weeks before that, maybe a little less than that, but it didn't matter. And at that point in my life, I was in this beautiful dream apartment, my dream apartment I've always wanted. I had zero credit card debt.
mm-hmm.
I had $12,000 sitting in the bank, which is not a lot of money, but it is more than most people have in their bank account. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and I'm sitting there, and this overwhelming amount of fear just starts coming up. And it's like the depths of hell just came up into my body, is
Yeah.
the best way to put it. And
Yeah.
so, but then I was off work for what, 5 6 months, something like that. And so during that time frame, that savings pretty much got drained. Well, it did get drained, and the credit card started getting racked up. And then throughout the year of trying to catch up, did get a job, a contract, a consulting gig for a company, and then I was in that about 10 months. Then I lost that job, and then I was out of work for 8 months. And somehow, the weirdest thing, because at that time I didn't have any savings, and the credit card debt was still pretty high. And so then you and I had this huge boom in business because both of us were on the Jeff Mara podcast, and got through all that, moved out of the apartment. I was at the end, almost at the end of my lease, and it's then this year I get a job for a consulting gig for 4 months, and then I lost it. And right now I'm at a place right now where I'm just like, you know, I'll take whatever is divine timing, divine order. But honestly, I feel so peaceful. And so, I have a lot of people that are worried for me, and I'm like, worried about what? I have no debt. You know, it's like, to be honest with you, I have the credit card debt still, but what's the worst that's going to happen? The credit's going to is going to collapse. Credit means nothing. And somebody's going to argue with me and say, well, you won't be able to buy a house or a car.
You're gone. What happened? Oh, wow. He was there. Now he's not there. So I'm in. So I have no idea what happened to
Can
him.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. I don't know what happened. You were completely off.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so then, so the reality is that yes, you need credit to buy those things in the world of man, but the reality is too, is like, who says I want all that?
Right.
And
That's a lot of burden to have all of that. I let go of a lot of stuff when I left my family, or got a divorce. I left a lot of stuff. I didn't need it anymore.
well, and I've been saying to the universe for since 2008, freedom.
Mhm.
Literally, that's been ringing in my head, freedom. And I know some people out there are going to say, well, I have kids, you don't have kids, all this kind of stuff. I have a family and you don't have a family. And I hate to beg to differ. I actually do have a family. And, it's basically three boys, three men. And, I love them just as much as you love your family.
Right.
However, attachment is what holds us back because my attachment to my family and wanting to protect them all the time holds me back but it also holds them back.
Right.
And it's one of those things where I've had to let go of a lot of people over the past few years. Where, and here's the thing: people get upset because they think, well, you're just saying that I can't have all this. I said I didn't say that at all. When you go within and let go, then you get everything that you desire. I am literally staying a block from Clearwater Beach this weekend, and then I'm going to Colorado Springs, and I wanted to have the freedom to move around and do my work, and I didn't want to be trapped by anything. There is a part of me that wants a little apartment that'll come where it's supposed to, but I'm not even sure where I want that.
Right.
So until that gets clear, it's hard to manifest because, I'll say that I want it in Florida, but then I'll also say I want it in Europe. So who knows to say where that's going to be. So I may be doing some of these from Europe at some point. So.
Yeah. You never know where you're going to go. And that's the fun part, because you don't need to know. You just need to be in the know of it.
Melissa, it's so funny. In the place I'm staying at this weekend, the people next to me have a Minnesota license plate. So I may be trying to talk to them. And they have a black lab that just came up and tried to kiss me earlier.
So, well, then are you going to go to the beach?
Oh, yeah. I got a few hours of work of editing videos I got to get done. But other than that, yeah, and I probably will end up in Minnesota at some point because I want to go up to Detroit Lakes. So, but
there you go. Well, tomorrow will be 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and it will run for 2 hours, correct?
Yeah, 2 hours.
Yeah.
From 11 a.m. till 1 p.m., not 1 a.m.
Eastern Standard Time. So if anybody wants to, catch in, all you have to do is go to our website, do what you need to do, and we hope to see you there. That's the whole thing. Is I think after this Labor Day weekend, everything will start getting back into alignment, because a lot of people are trying to catch that last summer time, and it's very hot here. I don't know about you. I know in Florida it's hot for you, but you all are used to it. We're not. So it's going to be it'll go back to the beaches. They'll go into the lakes. And, this is the last stitch and effort of fall coming in. Now, Kentucky in the fall is absolutely gorgeous. I'll be going up to Red River Gorge. I'll be doing some hiking up there myself. So I've got a group of people that I want to go with, and I haven't called them all yet, but I will. I'll let them know, and there'll be people that will want to come with us. So, yeah.
Sounds good. Well, that sounds like amazing. Well, and one thing is, by the way, Minnesota. Have you been to Minnesota, Virginia?
No. Mm-mm.
So the summer in Minnesota is absolutely beautiful. It's probably at least in my experience, I haven't been there in years. It was in the 60s and 70s during the day. Maybe getting up in the high 70s, low 80s sometimes. But at night you have to wear a jacket.
Yes.
And my family's property is right in Detroit Lakes. And it's called the Lazy Loon Lake.
Oh.
And it's close to where there's they have this big festival every year called We Fest. And but all the sites and cabins and everything are between two lakes. And it's absolutely beautiful. And it's a place where if you wanted to just go, your cell phone doesn't really work out there. You have to walk up to the top of the hill in order for your cell phone to work. And so if we were doing this, I'd be sitting in a chair at the top of the hill. So,
I've done that before on a mountain when I had to get phone coverage. Yeah, I've done that as well. Not there necessarily, but it was different places that you'd have to stand somewhere and find out where it is so you can do it. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then you drive into Detroit Lakes, and it's funny because, in Florida, you would never leave your dog in a car.
No.
But you can do that in Minnesota. And if just not long periods of time, but you can run into the store and, leave the windows open. and they're usually okay. Because Molly, we used to, I remember we went into a laundry mat, Mom and I, and we were in there doing laundry, and we just went and took the stuff in and got everything set up, and then we went and got her, because she would have bugged us, and we were trying to put all the things in the washer, and then she was just the happiest dog in there. She's like, "What are you two doing in there?" And so, and then all the beaches and stuff. It's fun, and what I would say to everybody is the message of this particular chat is let go and allow yourself to just be.
Yes.
And so I'm starting to realize one of the reasons why I've never had children, and I've lived my life very much unattached. Like, I don't even know if you know this, Virginia, but most of my adult life, I would only live in a place for a year, and I would move. And so the place I lived in Largo after Mom died was the longest I've ever lived in a house that was mine. And it's just because I always had this move. If a company said, "Hey, we want you to move here," I would go. And, "Hey, can you do this, or can you do that?" And I always had these opportunities that would just move me wherever I needed to go. And I think I've gotten the most attached here over the last probably 10 to 12 years of this area. I mean, Florida's been my home off and on since 1989, but I never held myself back from doing anything. So, including going on book tour. You remember that, right? I was just like,
Oh my gosh. Well, that's how we got to meet at Arizona when we did that presentation at the reservation.
oh,
Yeah.
well, I may be going back out there because I have a new friend that lives in Gallup, New Mexico, and I may be going out there, and we might be doing some stuff out there. And I'm gonna also, of course, connect with Michelle when I get out there. So
Yeah.
we should get her to do another healers gathering.
I don't know if she wants to do that anymore. That was pretty intense what she did before. Because we were the very first ones that came in, and she had, I think, 3 or 4, maybe 4 others, but it was exhausting for her. I know that was. So.
Yeah. Well, that was the same thing with Pasha up in the North Carolina one. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Putting these events on,
even how much that is.
Well, putting these events on, even virtually, are exhausting. And and then people always say that they're going to support it, and then they don't. But that's okay. That's not a big deal in a sense. But I don't think we should stop trying because people really enjoy them.
So, oh, I know every one that we've done, even that when we're on the computer as well. We always get a lot out of it. You and I get a lot out of it too. So, I enjoy meeting the people. That's what I enjoy, though. And I do miss meeting people. That's why we would love to have, if somebody ever wanted us to come in, we would love, if we could work it out, we would be, because I think I am going to Arizona to work at for a horse conference, teaching people how to listen to their horses and their energy. So I'm looking at that in October in Arizona. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Melissa, bring us up to Minnesota.
yeah, let's go in there. I mean, yes, but when it's in the fall, because I think, don't they have a thing with the ice? They have ice sculptures and everything in Minnesota. In the winter.
Yeah, but Jenny, you have to go during the winter where we can walk on a lake.
Oh, that kind of. Ooh.
You just don't want
I'm not a winter kind of girl, so I have never liked. And this is what we were talking about the other day too. When I was in high school, women did not wear shorts. I mean, we did not wear pants. We couldn't allow to. And wow, it was always cold. So that's why I loved when I got college, I did nothing but live in jeans. And that's why I'm so used to it. I said, that's why I'm an old hippie, I guess, because we were so programmed in our schools, in high school. The women, young girls could not wear anything but dresses or skirts.
Oh, wow.
I don't think people realize how much has really changed for all of us. The leisure, outfits for the men. My ex-husband always had some really nice colors, and I look back at some of that, and some of that was so funny. But it is 10 o'clock, and
Everybody have a wonderful weekend and have fun at all your barbecues on Labor Day.
Yes, enjoy your weekend. Have a great one.
Bye bye.
Bye.